Hello, beautiful, sexy human soul. Welcome to Center of Light Foundation, the tribe, the nation. Tonight we are going to be speaking about I'm the guy sitting in the chair, but it's all of us together. We're all doing this to each other, causing good trouble. Unite the God Code. Unite the God Code, but unite. That is the God Code. It is the mother load and the fathership load. Welcome to Center of Light Foundation. As you have noticed, I'm sure if you're a return offender, one second. Let me do some refreshing. All right. And uno más. The God Code. Unite the God Code. It's time to bring the code together. How do we do that? We'll explore this seemingly difficult but rather simple endeavor. Forever. It's not hard. It's already happening. The train is moving. It's just a matter of whether we want to get on board or not. I've been receiving lots of bang recently. More so this morning. I woke up from a dreamscape last night. It wasn't a dream. With Satya Sai Baba. And he felt not like God, as if I needed to do all this stuff. Which I'm ready to do all that stuff. It was just two friends hanging out. What could this mean? Is that the integration is happening. For me. For all of us. And speaking for myself, it's happening to me consciously. There's no longer a worship. There's a strong humility in me, for sure. Never kid that, never doubt that. But this escape with Satya Sai Baba last night for me was simply just being there. It wasn't about teacher, student, guru, student. It was just be present with me. It's the God Code. It's the script that's writ on our heart. It's the scripture, the forever promise. But we have to get there first. We have to unite. I don't ever want to stop loving you like this song says. Summum bonum, the greatest or supreme good. I did not say Sonny Bono. Summum bonum, the greatest or supreme good. What is that supreme good? Let me do a couple shares real quick. One moment, I forgot to do something. Welcome everyone. Speaking of share, why not? Why not share this Summum Bono, Sonny and Cher Bono, wherever you can. And we'll get right into this beeswax here shortly. Uno más. Pretty much the only phrases I know of Latino, of Spanish. There we go. All right, moving forward. Tonight is Center of Light Unite. The God Code. So this morning, I had some pretty heavy stuff. I want to share with you, know this. As much as of a thinker, creator, imaginer that you are, just when you think you are all thought out, in other words, I'm exhausted, I've exhausted my resources, something else comes along and says, I got something for you. This was one of those moments. I'm already full. How much more full can one person be? Whoever we are. So I'm hanging out with Southeast Sai Bobby in an underground room. I wouldn't say a cave, but just kind of that underground. You know it's underground, you know it's in a cellar kind of thing, but it was very well laid out. It was some rock and some wood, and he was just sitting there on a chair. Maybe even like a rocker kind of chair. And I had some thoughts, and I know he suppressed them. He understood them. He suppressed them not because they're not important. They're just not important right now. I just simply want you to hang out. That's the God code. It's to unite with the all. All for one and one for all. After all, what is there? There's only one, and it's all of us. That is the God code. What is the God code? It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Me. It's we. There's no longer us and Creator. It's just Creator, which is just us. Fragmented, and I don't mean fragmented in a negative context. We're fragmented. We're pieces of the whole. Ugh, this thing's heavy. If I take a clear mind and pump the fire of God through it, all there is one. But if I take the same crystal ball, which represents crystal vision, crystal clear vision, and drop this crystal ball on the ground, on concrete, it's going to shatter millions of bits. But looking at this as a whole structure, infrastructure, all I see is me as a reflection. Blown up wall eye lens, fish eye lens, right? But if I break this on the ground, each individual fractal, will reflect myself, the wholeness. God is a hologram. It's present in all places at all times. For those who are just awakening, something just happened. Hello, Tamara. I love what you just said. I'll get to that. No, I'm going to get to it now. She said, Jesus, us, is hugs and kisses. In other words, Jesus, and then she broke it up into syllables. Just us, basically, is what she's saying. Hello, Danielle. For those who are just awakening, something beautiful just happened in your life. Oh, my dear Lord. And you've expanded. Come on. I found a new path. It's not really new. In fact, it's not only old, it's ancient. But it's new for you this go around. So you found this new path. That in and of itself is a miracle that everyone hopes to get to, trying to or not. That's the miracle. The umbrella miracle, the shelter miracle. Then miracles begin to happen all the time, everywhere. Why? Because you've tickled the hair in the ears of God. So God begins to respond, miracles. You turn right, you turn left. Did this just happen? Yes, it did just happen. But you got to convince yourself that it just didn't happen. So more miracles come along to validate you in this code, this God code. Because code is now coming. Because you are a data entrier. Om Sri Sairam Guru Deva Dutta, data. The Supreme Lord of the universe. But after these miracles come through the floodgate in full force for quite a while. Can you give me a time scale? A year plus. Things will still happen, but they will be sparse. What this means is that we are in this digestion, maturation period, assimilation period, exclamation point. That is the point. So we integrate this, we assimilate it, we process it, and then we toss it back out into the universe. Hello, Elaine Leonard. Blessings. And as we toss, so toss to us. And so we're in this level of exaltation. Ironic, isn't it, that our liberation lies. Let me read this again. Everything is so small. Our liberation lies when we understand God is our slave. And everything and everyone starts firing off into what can that possibly mean? That is the good, the summum bonum, the supreme good for all people. It's because the mantra of Swamiji, this divine man, his name on the ultimate spiritual level is Om. Well, this is the recognition or the title. Om Sri Sairam Guru Deva Dutta. It means, yes, ye, I'm going to paraphrase it. Basically, you are the supreme Lord of the universe. You start looking at that picture for a little while. I was looking at this picture today. It changed me. I felt the Shaktipat, the dialogue, the transmission, the Diksha I was getting from God via Swamiji. So what do I mean by God becoming your slave? Because if this is the name of the Supreme Lord, Jesus is included, don't take it out of context. The Christ, the ever-loving, everlasting, eternal principle of truth. It's all-inclusive. Swamiji is just conscious and awakened to the truth. So what does it mean? This is the name of the Supreme Lord. Jesus, all that is good, Santa Claus, a great ice cream cone, Swamiji, Buddha, Krishna, everything that is beautiful, that is sacred on any level. The mantra, Om Sri Sairam Guru Deva Datta, is even more powerful than the Guru, even more powerful than Jesus, God, Krishna, whatever, doesn't matter. Because the mantra is that which attracts the God code in us and enslaves it in our heart and joy and bliss forever. To normal, if you use the word, people, a person infected with God is not normal. To a God infected individual, everyone else is not normal. Boom. It's the God code. It's you. It's me. It's no longer me here and it there. And it's integrating here and there and everywhere. And until we understand this, nothing happens. Things will be happening, but nothing for the summum bonum will happen, for the greatest good. The greatest good is always happening. Always has been, forever will. It's more of whether we choose to be in that program. We have to reprogram, unlearn the monkey and its nonsense. Without purpose, man does not live well. Purpose is the reason for anything. It is the force that drives everything. It's the code, the God code. All for one, one for all. How to transform the ego. The selfish part of us. We're always selfish, even in our selfishness. When we use our ego to help others, our ego is transformed into purpose. For without ego, can there be no purpose? So the ego has a very valuable role. All for one for all. It is about everyone. No one gets left behind. No one. I choose the something beyond anything that will lead me to everything. Om Sri Sairam Guru Deva Dutta. God's face will become visible as we unite. But we have to unite first. Then when all the little moving parts, people, you and I, fractals, fragments, get into alignment with our passion, that is when the well-greased divine purpose wheel will perpetually turn as the earth does and on earth as it is. Time is ticking. Your house is only a fraction of your home and family. Hello, Peter Coyle. Your house is only a fraction of your home and family. We all live in houses, cities, states of confusion, countries, continents, but we also live on the earth as all of its denizens. The only way we can truly take care of our home is to take care of each other. Irregardless, many people hate that slang, regardless of caste, creed, code, sex, sect, sexual preference, or whatever. Whosoever chooses not to be a part of the plan, well, you may be kicked out, exit earth, basically. You may be kicked out of your home prematurely. The God code, being of service. Without food, there is no life. Without shelter, there is no comfort. Without proper education, there is no point. Without purpose, one is already dead. From Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my most recent bestseller. Amazon, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. You can use that same link. Not only to purchase it, but leave me a review. Please do. I love you. My dialogue with Spirit. All those years ago, Spirit says, absolute clarity, the mind, when not clouded and shrouded with the monkey, looks like this. The fire of God moves through the heart and into the mind. It looks like this. Absolute clarity is one of my grandest attributes. For you to have the two will require crystal clear intention, a lifelong, and not only lifelong, on every possible level, to where you are on automatic pilot default. I am moving through time and space. A lifelong commitment of your spirit, mind, and body, your feelings, thoughts, and actions, constantly working to dislodge and discard all beliefs that block clarity's light. Oh my God. Every time you employ discipline and dedication, you will be getting closer to me, meaning God, my dialogue with Spirit. You will be getting closer to me at a conscious level. This is the God code. I shall now show you an excellent way to begin this process. The God code is you, me, we. When we connect, as we begin to unite, God's face begins to reveal itself. The true face of God. that they say that if you look upon it, you would just you would just explode or implode into nothing. Well, of course, because when we see the true face of God, which is the unity of all people, we possibly couldn't handle that level of divine love fragmented in what we call as ourselves, and we probably will simply return back to spirit. The heaven on earth prophecy refers to the graduating into that. Returning to spirit itself is what the graduating into that has brought and or led us to. And it's for us to remove the lead that has held us down, that which weighs on us, on our heart. There was a monumental shift in me this morning. You could see it in my eyes. You could hear it in my voice. My little puppy dog spiritual tail is wagging because somebody's about to buy me because they're looking at me in the window at the pet shop. I'll see you shortly.
Okay, my friend, in this video, it is the ultimate guide to Nikola Tesla's Divine Code 369 method. This is one of the most powerful manifestation tools in the entire universe, and Nikola Tesla says it holds the keys to the universe. So welcome back to another video. Thanks for being here. Good morning. I'm out in beautiful nature. If you enjoy these nature shots, be sure to smash the like button. Let me know right there down below, and check out my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com, pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. So Galileo once said that the book of nature is written in the language of mathematics. So what if Tesla was actually right, and the divine code of the universe is hidden in the mathematical sequence of numbers 3, 6, and 9? Tesla even stated, if you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. In fact, Tesla was so obsessed with this secret to the universe that he would walk around 3 times the block before entering the building. Tesla would wash his dishes with 18 napkins because 18 is divisible by 9, 6, and 3. And he would only stay in hotel rooms that had a room number divisible by 3. So if you thought your OCD and anxiety was bad, at least look on the bright side. You're not washing dishes with 18 napkins just because it's divisible by 3 and 6 and 9. But the truth is, who doesn't walk around the perimeter of their house 3 times before they open the front door? But even crazier than that, to top it all off, when Tesla's life ended, he bounced around cheap hotels, and he died in the room 3327. But here's the truth. Tesla wasn't some crazy guy who randomly was obsessed with numbers. Just remember what Galileo said. The book of nature is written in the language of mathematics. Okay, so first, Tesla was on the cover of Time magazine as the man who lit the world. He invented alternating current, AC, the induction motor, the Tesla coil, and he laid the research for many ideas developed by others like the X-rays, neon lights, remote controls, the radio, hydroelectric power plants, which use AC current. But in my opinion, his most epic invention was with electricity and free energy systems, harnessing the invisible energy that's all around us to create electrical power for free. And this video's unlike anything you've ever seen on Tesla's 369 manifestation technique, because I literally spent hours researching the historical and scientific methods behind it. So before I give you the technique, let's summarize the hours of my research into 6 big ideas throughout science and human history that explain why Tesla believed 369 technique, that I'm about to share with you was the most powerful secret in the universe. So number one, the first reason that I believe Tesla felt that the key to the universe was in 369s was vortex math. And we're not going to go into an hour-long presentation on vortex math, but scientist Marco Rodin believes that 3, 6, and 9 represents a flux field or a vector from the third to the fourth dimension. So a vector is just the shape of energy an object like water takes when you pour it. Basically, it's an energy spiral in the third dimension, and 3, 6, and 9 are the vibrational frequencies in the subatomic field known as the fourth dimension that hold that vector of energy back together in the third dimension. So this image that you're seeing on your screen right now represents mathematical vortex as shown below. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8 are all green lines connected. This represents the form of the object in the physical world. But then the numbers 3, 6, and 9 hold the vibrational equivalence and hold it back into reality in third dimension. They're located in the fourth dimension or the quantum field. So I believe that Tesla loved 3, 6, and 9 because they clearly represent the non-physical frequency, vibration, and energy of physical objects back in third dimension. The second reason that Tesla may think that 3, 6, 9 are the divine codes to the universe is that atoms follow the 3, 6, 9 divine code formula. So for example, an atom is 99.999% empty space. So notice the 9, not to mention that an atom is 99% non-physical, but it's manifested as physical. So if we use that vector math example, 99.9% of an atom is simply invisible energy. Like scientist Marco Rodin said, 369 represents an energy field from the third to the fourth dimension. 99.9% of atoms and physical matter are located in this field of energy outside of third dimension. So clearly the 9 in 99% represents the quantum field, which is why Tesla said, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration if you want to understand the universe. 3, the third reason is that time itself follows 369 codes. So first off, there's 3 scientific terms for time: past, present, and future. Additionally, there's 24 hours in a day, so 2 plus 4 is 6. Then there's 60 minutes in an hour, 6 plus 0 equals 6. Then there's 60 seconds in a minute, 6 plus 0 is 6. And if you look around a clock, you have a constant oscillation between 3, 6, and 9. 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Then you have 12 o'clock. 1 plus 2 equals 3. The fourth reason is that 369 is the basis for geometry. Circles are 360 degrees. That's 3 and 6, then you add it together and it's 9. And if we talk about other symmetrical shapes, such as a triangle, the sum of all the angles, you may have failed geometry like I did, but it's 180. So 1 plus 8 plus 0 equals 9. And then if we talk about a square, 360 degrees, 3 plus 6 plus 0 equals 9. The fifth reason is crazy. DNA in the body is composed of 3 chemical subunits sequenced 3 at a time within biological genes. And each time you add 3 chemical subunits of DNA, you subsequently get 6 and 9. So this is encoded into your very DNA. And number 6, 3s also appear all throughout human history. So think about it. We got the Trinity everywhere, right? We got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And as I mentioned earlier, Tesla was obsessed with trinities. He often pointed to the trifecta of energy, frequency, and vibration, which he believed held the key to the entire universe. His exact quote on this with the trifecta was, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Energy, frequency, and vibration are the trifecta, the holy trifecta. So how do you do it? Step number 1 is to pick 3 affirmations that you want to manifest into your life. So that might be, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making $10,000 a month. It might be, I'm so happy and grateful now that I met my soulmate and we have a beautiful family. It might be, I'm so happy and grateful I healed my health and I'm in perfect fitness. It might be, I'm so happy and grateful now that I got a promotion and a raise and I'm the top salesperson in my company. It might be, I'm so happy and grateful I've now manifested my dream cabin in the mountains in Alaska. Whatever it is, clearly pick 3 exact things and write them down. Now, step number 2 is to review it 6 times per day. Yes, I said it 6 times per day, but look, I just gave the whole background. I did it on purpose. So it wasn't just a video where you turn it on and it's like, hey, here's 3 mantras, here's 3. Now you know the entire power. This is literally the secret to the universe. These 3 affirmations you pick, although you can't see the materialization of them yet, they're in the quantum field. Vortex math proves that. And then you speak them into existence by reviewing them 6 times a day. You're going to do this for 9 seconds. Now, I know there's a lot of ways, different ways, to do the 3-6-9 technique. And some of them are different than maybe you've heard on this video. If you want to see other versions of it, I can share the actual methodology and different approaches as well. Just, again, let me know in the comments. But the way I like to do it is 6 times per day for 9 seconds each. 9 seconds each. So you'll take your, for instance, I'm so happy and grateful I'm making $10,000 a month. You'll review that for 9 seconds, but you don't just review the words. Remember, the trifecta is energy, frequency, and vibration. So you want to enter the vibration of making $10,000 a month. And the way you would do this is with excitement. So you want to say it out loud as if you've actually made that $10,000 a month. Yes, I just made $10,000 a month. Same thing for your cabin. Yes, I just got my dream cabin. It smells so freaking amazing, and there's no annoying Wi-Fi signals out here. Woo! So you do that 6 times a day with each one of them, and you do it for 9 seconds a piece to enter the energy, frequency, and vibration of each one of those. Now, I highly recommend that you do this in sets of 9 days. 3 affirmations, 6 times a day. So you could tape them on your mirror so you know where they are, put them on your wall, and you just quickly review them. Put them on index cards so they're in your pocket so you can do them when you're at work. 9 seconds each for 9 days. And then watch what happens. This is scientifically proven. Energy is never created or destroyed. The money you want already exists. The job you want, the promotion, the soulmate, it's all already here. The only thing that stops us is we haven't accessed this energy that's in the quantum field or the 4th dimension. And this is the quickest and easiest technique to start to do that. You will see results in 9 days or less. So I'm wishing you a beautiful day. I know great things are going to come your way when you do this. If you enjoy this video, smash the like button. Give me a comment down below that says energy is everything or more Tesla. Let us know what you think of the beautiful nature shot, and check out my free success hypnosis, jakeshypnosis.com, pinned to the comments and in the description right there below. Remember, everything is energy, and you've just found the key to the universe.
I want to say thank you, Jake Ducey. Swamiji, the God realized, fully lit man you see in this thumbnail. Swamiji, on Earth today. Swamiji is the God code perfectly aligned and illuminated. He is the personification of perfect mathematical God code. As Jesus was, is, and will forever be. It's about being, about aligning with the code of forever, the eternal code, rather. It's about being in harmony with that code. Code of law. That's divine law, that is. What is the code? It is you. It is me, it is we, it is unity. That is the code. So Swamiji, when you look at this, oh my goodness, look at this energy. It will pull you into the sea of forever. There is a depth there that I personally can't explain. In fact, I don't want to try to. It would seem pretty blasphemic. So, tonight we are speaking about unite. Awake, arise, unite. That's the code. That's the mother lode. It's the God code. Right now, speaking about the mother lode, the divine feminine is what we are returning to. The nurturing aspect of God. Feeding the baby. We're the baby. We're the children. Getting our sustenance from divine mother versus, so to speak, father the scolder. Bringing this into balance. From homecoming, crossing the bridge to the souls, my dialogue with spirit, spirit starts off, just because they say, they, the system, the government, religion, just because they say you are inferior does not mean that you are. For I have created no one above or below another. I do not separate nor, capital nor, favor anything. Nor am I opposed or for anything. If I operated this way, I would not be the unity, unite. I would not be the unity that I am. I am. I am unity, God code. To clear up this long-held misconception is the purpose, Keith, of you and I's dialogue. That is to help you and other people see all things through the eyes of love. And I asked the question, so what is it like to be in this supreme state? Very good question. What is it like to be you, basically? Which I did ask Swamiji. Simply divine. So crystal clear is my vision that everywhere I look, all I see is me. That's the level of unity of our bringing together everyone in sister and brotherhood. It's about everyone. No one gets left behind. We don't all fully ascend until everyone comes along with us, even the wretched. Simply divine, so crystal clear is my vision, Spirit says, that everywhere I look, all I see is me. I am not the supreme being. I am supreme being. And my beingness, I love this. I didn't see this coming. Maybe I need to get a little more clear. And my beingness permeates everything in creation like light moving through glass. And I asked the question, is everything crystalline in structure? Yes, Keith, exactly. From my mind, all information passes through fiber optic branches to manifest everything all at once. But purifying that within you, which remains clouded and constricted by fear, you too will come to see and be in this state. And then I respond, what a great chapter session this was for me. And I believe I have much more clarity now. And Spirit says, well, Keith, I am very pleased to hear that. Because if this chapter about clarity provided none, what would have been the point? Video number 2, Greg Braden. The energy is moving. We are all grooving to the beat of our own heart drum. Are you conscious of that? No matter how good of a person you are, which I have no doubt that you is, if you're not living your biz, your jizz, your passion, your fashion, your rations are running short. Greg Braden, check him out. The God Code, Unity, United.
Hello, my name's Greg Braden. I'd like to welcome you to today's very special presentation of the Divine Matrix, Bridging Time, Space, Miracles, and Belief. In our last episode, we discovered that we are biologically wired to hack the Divine Matrix in seemingly superhuman ways. Well, in this episode, we're going to go one step further. We'll uncover the prayer code, the formula for an empowered form of prayer that is actually mirrored in the most sophisticated computer systems known to exist in the world today. So what I'd like to do is share an example. This is a story, it's a true story that happened to me when I left the corporations in the early 1990s, and I moved to a piece of land in the high desert of northern New Mexico. And those of you that live in that part of the world, you may remember the 1990s was one of the worst droughts in recorded history. The elders of the native peoples, they said in the memory of their ancestors, they'd never seen a drought that had lasted as long as what we were experiencing. It was going on 5+ years. It was terrible. Cattle were dying, crops were dying, people were selling their farms because they could no longer support themselves on the land. And it was during this time that a native friend of mine called me one morning. And to honor his privacy, I'm going to call him David, even though David is not really his name. But David called me one morning and he asked me, he said, "Greg, would you like to meet me and accompany me to a place that is so old, no one even knows who built this place. It was built by the hands of our ancestors. It is a wheel. It is a circle of stone where we offer our prayers because in this place, the skin between the worlds is very thin." I love that terminology. So he said, "Would you like to join me to offer a prayer of rain?" And I didn't have to think twice. I said, "You bet." And I met David and we hiked into this place. I wasn't prepared for what I saw. As an Anglo, as a Westerner, I expected to see some chanting, some kind of ceremony, maybe some dancing. And what I saw was David. He sat on the ground. He took off his old work boots. He unlaced them and put them outside the circle. He stepped into the circle with his naked feet on the ground. He closed his eyes. He honored all of his ancestors. He honored the directions, all 6 of them. And then he closed his eyes with his hands in a prayer mudra over his heart, just for a few seconds. This is outside of the town of Taos, New Mexico. It's the nearest city of any size. And he looked at me. He opened his eyes and he looked and he said, "I'm hungry. You want to get a bite to eat?" And he was inside the circle. And I said, "Well, yes." I said, "But I thought you were going to pray for rain." And he looked at me and what he said has stayed with me so powerfully for so long, and it's helped so many people when they think about how this prayer works. He looked at me and said, "No." He said, "If I prayed for rain, rain could never happen." He said, "Because the moment I pray for rain, I have just told the universe that rain does not exist here. The moment I pray for it to happen, I'm acknowledging that it's not here now." And I said, "Well, if you didn't pray for rain just now," I said, "when you closed your eyes, what did you just do?" And he said, "When I closed my eyes," he said, "I felt the feeling of what it feels like when it rains in my Pueblo village." He said, "I felt the feeling of what it feels like to stand with my naked feet in the mud, and the mud is there because there's been so much rain." He said, "I smelled the smells of what the rain smells like when it rolls off the earthen walls from our Pueblo, and I felt what it would feel like to walk through the corn that's this high against my naked chest, and it's this high because there's been so much rain to grow the corn, and then I give thanks of gratitude and appreciation for the rain that has already happened." All right, can you see now, through everything that we have explored, everything we've discovered in this series, can you see what David has just done? He's brought together so many of the concepts. He's acknowledging that there's a field out there, number one, that he's communicating with that field. He's acknowledging that the feeling is the language that the field recognizes. It's not so much about the words. The words can be spoken. However, if the words are spoken, the goal is to create the feeling. All right? And he's acknowledging that he has the potential as a man, a human, in the presence of this field to reach inside of the field into the realm of all things that are possible and isolate the possibility of his choice and collapse that potential into something real in our world. And he's doing it through a very sophisticated internal technology that we call the lost mode of prayer. It is a feeling-based prayer. The key? Feeling as if the prayer is already answered, coming from the outcome. There is a huge difference between working toward the outcome a little at a time and beginning with the outcome. And you've probably seen this huge difference in your life as a child. I know that I did. For example, I was told when I was young, if I scrape my knee on the sidewalk, the healing is going to happen slowly, gradually, over a period of time. And you know what? Sure enough, that's exactly the way it happened. I would look and expect, my mom told me, she said, every day it's going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And I'd look, and she was right. It was getting a little better, a little better, and a little better. Is it possible that when we look at our bodies with that kind of expectation, that the healing actually reflects, it mirrors our expectation? And if that is true, what would happen if we begin with the outcome? I want to tell you, I've done this in my life, and it has worked. And that's why I can sit here and look at you right now, and I can tell you, I know that this modality of prayer works. And when we talk about prayer, we're talking about this as a code interacting with creation. This has nothing to do with any religion whatsoever. And I want to be really clear about that. Although religions have wrapped the rules and the dogma around these deeply spiritual principles in the past, and actually led to people in some respects feeling further from their power. It has disempowered the people, the rules and the dogma. So we're cutting right through the rules and the dogma. We're going to the essence of our most ancient and cherished spiritual technology. It's about the relationship between you and me, the field, the earth, the heavens, the cosmos, and our bodies. So I've had the opportunity to begin my healing from the place where we are conditioned to think that it leads, to feel the feeling as if the healing has already happened. In other programs, I've talked about this. I went through a physical in the year 2000. There was a tumor inside my bladder that doctors wanted to operate on physically. I acknowledged that. I applied everything that I had learned in my life, and I really applied it. I didn't just kind of apply it. I lived the deepest truths, the existence of everything that I'm saying to you in this program, and it takes work. It takes work to do that. And I did that work, and when I went back, fully prepared for surgery if it was needed, what the doctors found was there's no need for the surgery. But I've done this with cuts and scrapes as well. Our bodies will respond. We're part of the field. We're emerging from this field, and we communicate with the field in a language that recognizes emotion, feeling, just like David did with the rain. Then the field responds. So let me tell you what happened with the rain. David and I went into Taos, New Mexico. We had lunch about an hour south of where this prayer was offered. By the time I got back onto my land, something began to happen that we hadn't seen in a long time. Big black clouds came in over the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. It started to rain, and it rained. And it rained and rained and rained. It rained all that night. It rained the next morning. It rained the next afternoon. It rained and rained. It rained so much the ground was so dry it couldn't absorb the rain, and everything began to flood. Fields were flooded. Cattle were stranded. Roads were washed out. And I called my friend on the phone. I'm just going to share this with you. I called my friend on the phone, and I said, David, man, this is a mess. I said, what is happening? And he was quiet just for a moment. And he said, Greg, that's the part of the prayer our ancestors could never figure out. He said they could tell it to rain, but they couldn't tell it how much to rain. So I cannot prove to you scientifically that David's prayer had anything to do with the rain that came in that afternoon. I cannot prove that to you as a scientist. As a scientist, what I have to say is there's a high correlation between the rain that appeared that hadn't been seen in a long time and what David had just done hours earlier. And the weatherman would agree. I watched the weatherman that evening, and on the weather maps, what they showed was a low pressure front that came across Utah, Wyoming, and it came into Colorado and then down into northern New Mexico, and it made a little loop and went right back up. And that low pressure system is what brought the rain to that place. So when we talk about these things, some of these are anecdotal stories, but they're illustrating from an indigenous perspective a very powerful concept. Look at what David did. He incorporated all of his senses. He didn't ask for something to happen. He felt it had already happened. He smelled what it smells like when it happens. He heard the sounds of the rain. I didn't even tell you about that part, but he heard the sounds of the rain. And he felt as if that rain is already there. I'm going to invite you to think about this as we go into this modality of prayer that I'm going to share with you. So the principles that I'm sharing in this mode are very simple. They're also very ancient. And everything I'm saying to you, we see the instructions for this kind of prayer, for this code that allows us to speak directly to the matrix. We see these principles recorded in some of our most ancient, cherished spiritual traditions. And I'm talking about lost biblical books that I described earlier in this program. These are the books that were discovered in the mid-20th century as the Nag Hammadi Library in Egypt. Remember, the Dead Sea Scrolls are the oldest records of the Old Testament. The Nag Hammadi Library are the oldest records of the New Testament, both of them found in the mid-20th century, the 1940s. And in that Nag Hammadi Library, the 43-plus books that were completely removed from the biblical canon in the 4th century by the Emperor Constantine were intact in the Nag Hammadi Library, including the Gospel of Thomas that we've spoken about earlier. Thomas the scribe, that followed the Master, Jesus, the teacher, not a religious man from this perspective, but he followed the teacher, and he recorded the words, the exact words of the teacher. And this is important because there is a place in the Gospel of Thomas where his students asked the teacher how to communicate with the field. They didn't use those terms. They asked how to communicate with God. And it's in the Gospel of Thomas that we find the instructions for the fifth mode, the lost mode of prayer. Now, I mentioned earlier that you've heard the term when something is lost in translation. And it is this translation that I'm going to share with you from this biblical book after its discovery that is a beautiful example of just how much a difference, one difference, an error in translation can make. So it's in the Gospel of Thomas that we actually find the instructions for this fifth or this lost mode of prayers, as I mentioned. So let me first read to you the translation in the authorized version of the King James Bible as we see it today. If you'd like to see this for yourself, it's in King James Version. The book of John 16 through 23 is where you would find this. I know you've heard this before. How many of you have heard, ask and ye shall receive? That's where this comes from. But let me read you the translation. The translation goes like this. Whatsoever ye ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. Ask and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. Okay, and that's the end of the translation. I don't know about you. When I was a kid, I would ask and ask and ask, and not much would happen. And I became very frustrated. Many people do. And we feel powerless. We feel that our prayers really aren't making any difference because we're not seeing any way to reinforce that our prayers have actually done something. They've made a difference. We're going to go back into the original Aramaic translation, and Greek and Aramaic both, but this is going to be from the original Aramaic. In the Gospel of Thomas, you see Greek and Aramaic, is why I'm clarifying this. And I want to read you, and it's very close, but there's a powerful and subtle difference that was left out in the translation, and it may very well be because the translators did not understand what you and I are exploring right now. Because they didn't understand it, they simply streamlined the languaging. So, in the translated version, and if you'd like to see this for yourself, it comes from Neil Douglas Clotes, is the name of the translator. There's a little book called Prayers of the Cosmos. It is a beautiful, beautiful book where he retranslates so many of the very powerful prayers, and this is one of them. Now listen to the difference. In the original text, it begins a very similar way. Quote, all things that you ask straightly, directly, from inside my name, you'll be given. Okay, now here comes the translation that was in error. This is the original. Ask without hidden motive and be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire, that your gladness be full. That is a single, very powerful statement. I'm going to break this down. Ask without hidden motive. That is inviting you to ask without attachment to the outcome. It's actually a very Buddhist concept. Ask without attachment to the rightness, the wrongness, the goodness, the badness, or the joy or the disappointment as to whether or not your prayer is answered, without attachment to the outcome. Okay? Be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire. The only way to be is if those things are already present. Your prayer is already answered. You're coming from the place that the prayer has already been answered. So the key to what we're saying here, feel the feeling. Feel as if the prayer is already answered with as many senses as you can. Smell, touch, taste, hearing. Feel as if your body is already healed. Feel as if your perfect relationship is already present. Feel as if your abundance is already present. Invoke all of those senses. Earlier in this series, I suggested a new model for creation and the way that it works, and a new philosophy that says that our creation, that consciousness, is constantly informing us of ourselves through our creations. The things that we create, art, music, books, the things that we create that we believe are entertainment or creative expression, in addition to those things, that they are actually us informing us of ourselves, informing us of our relationship to the field, so that we can remind ourselves of this very powerful internal technology. Prayer is a perfect example of what I'm talking about here. Now, I'm going to do this in a very condensed format to give you the sense for what I'm saying, and then you can take this idea and you can apply it in your own prayers. I'm going to give you a template to do just that. I worked in the corporations and as a scientist, as a senior computer systems designer during the Cold War years. I understand computer systems really well. And one of the things that amazed me is no matter how complex or how simple they are, whether we're writing 3 million lines of code, which happens with some of the systems that are being used in the research industry, or just a couple of lines of code, the programs will always follow the same template. Here's the template. There is always an introduction that tells the program what is about to happen. They're called declaration statements. Then, following the declaration, there is the work, the body of the program that's actually doing the calculations. And then there's a close, something to bring the program to closure. All right? That is the way the most sophisticated computer systems in our world work today. If we are building in our world, if consciousness is informing us in our world, something we know and need to know about ourselves, then the question is it possible that those most sophisticated computers can be telling us something about the way we communicate with the matrix? The answer is yes. The template that allows the most sophisticated computers and the way to work the way it works is precisely the template that allows your prayers to work the way they work. And your prayers, when you build your prayers, I'm going to invite you to do precisely this. The first statement of your prayer, a declaration statement. Tell the field, tell the matrix, tell consciousness, tell God what it is that you're about to do. In a single phrase or a brief sentence, be concise. You can simply say, this is a prayer of healing for my body, or a prayer of healing regarding my loved ones. And then in the code, what is it that you want to happen, but come from the place that it's already happened. Give thanks for what has already occurred. I give thanks for the perfection of my body, for the healing of my body, for the healing of my loved ones, for the healing of my relationship. All right? This is the body of the code. The closure, so beautiful and so powerful. In the closure, we're telling the field that it's already done. And for the closure, the texts invite us to use the original Aramaic. The original Aramaic, there's something about these words. Let me share them with you. The words La Alam, Amin, Amen. La Alam, Amin, Amen. At the end of your prayer, what does that mean? It means I seal this prayer in trust and faith and truth. Amen. I can't think of a more powerful, more sophisticated, more beautiful technology that has been left to us than our ability to communicate with this field in a meaningful way. And I've just shared with you one template. There may be others. This is a very powerful template that was left to us 2,500 years ago that allows us to do just that. The bottom line of everything I'm saying to you is through the fifth mode of prayer, our feeling-based prayer, we are given the ability to communicate directly with the possibilities that exist in the universal field, in this divine matrix, and to do so in a language that the matrix recognizes. Our most ancient and cherished spiritual traditions have preserved the knowledge and the technique to interact with the divine matrix and for us to rewrite our personal as well as the global reality code. Well, in the next episode, we'll discover why our relationship with this matrix literally holds the key to the crises that are destroying our families and our communities, polarizing our societies and our nations today. So I want to thank you for joining me for this very special presentation, and be sure to tune in for our next all-new episode of The Divine Matrix, Bridging Time, Space, Miracles, and Belief.
Swamji happens to be the beautiful, perfect alignment consciously of that very God code that we've been speaking about. Jesus was the same. Buddha, Krishna, your great-grandmother who knew everything. Truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. It does not. Greg Braden, the gentleman you just saw, he is sharp as a tack. His overview, if I may, basically is to see all things as done, created in my Father's image and similitude. See all things as completely done. And then, from there, give thanks. Because you are not a corporeal, time-stricken being, eternal. So you basically launch yourself out of time for a little moment, you time traveler that you are, and you give thanks for that which you not only offer up, you in such a way you become. I'm one with my Father. From Homecoming Crossing the Bridge of the Soul, in closing, tonight is Unite the God Code. Unite the God Code. Who's the God Code? What is the God Code? It's you, me, you. It's all of us. We are the God Code. So I want to give you the Center of Light Foundation mission mantra statement. I am a soul of divine light here on this planet to use my God-given abilities for peace and unity. Unite the God Code. As an anchor for the prophecy of heaven on earth, I am that which is and will forever and always be. My intent is to be conscious every moment, placing my feet on the path towards the kingdom of my divine birth. It is the birthright I now claim. Where I am from, we are from. There is no blame, shame, nor gain. As I am, we are the sole provider of our infinite experience. No person, place, or thing can affect me in my essence. I am the soul. There is no devil. It's illusory. For I am invincible. My will is to forever move inward, upward, forward, toward the great central sun, S-U-N-S-O-N, the Christed Son. But I am also the Christed daughter. And because I give warmth and light to the world, I can never die. I'm eternal. My divine principal parent is calling me homeward, and I must go. As I have patiently and powerfully taken steps for eons, I now find myself standing at the garden gate. Hello, 2023. Where are you? Where are we? With every breath, I cross the threshold and into the kingdom of forever. At last, I am at peace, for I am a child of the infinite light of God, and so it is. Amen. From Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, Spirit begins. Again, back to basics we go. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. Now shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within. Luke 17:20-21. I tell you, Keith and all, if humanity were in alignment with the divine will, it would not be in its present condition. Be rest assured that this condition will be corrected early in the new millennium. This was 1996. Early in the new millennium, we're 2023. That is when the world, oh dear Lord, I love this passage. That is when the world will find itself submerged in absolute God change. And that is when it will become mandatory for everyone to question everything you believe to be true. As you all meditate upon the enigma of God, you will have no choice but to re-examine what you think to be divine. And then I ask, please tell me more about how my thoughts and feelings work. Spirit responds, there are no neutral thoughts, only love-based ones or fear-based ones. Love-based ones are permissive and cast no judgment. Fear-based thoughts, all they do the complete opposite. If you imagine you're listening to the radio, and you're liking your thoughts to its many different stations and your feelings to its volume. Well, what do you think happens when you crank the volume up? And I respond, the music I have chosen, my thoughts, my feelings, becomes very loud. And Spirit says, yes, depending on the station you select, your love thoughts and feelings, or your guilt ones, life's radio will either play for you a love song or the blues. Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee. And then Spirit says in all jest, you are now tuned into WGOD, your true soul music station. And I say, that's very funny. And Spirit says, yes, Keith, it is. But it does show you exactly how your judgments, thought, and conviction, feelings manifest your reality. So if you want to, as Jake Ducey, myself, and Greg Braden, Spirit continues, all those years ago. So if you want your life to be filled with beautiful, uplifting music, you must first feel the joy that you're having, what you are desiring, and then it will come to you. And then allow that feeling to take form in your mind's eye. The correct sequence you must employ in order to create anything, especially heaven on earth, deliberately, is feeling to thought, not thought to feeling. So Swamji, which I'm about to show you in the outro, is the perfect alignment of the divine code, the unity. We will see or begin to see the unraveling or the revelation of God's face as we, as a world, begin to unify. That is the love. That is the grace. I love you beyond measure. It is always my pleasure and fortunate am I to be with you.